If you're enjoying the content you find here, please consider becoming a member of the Gaze community. Subscribe right now.
Now you go too far. Unacceptable. This is an outrage. Hold on, we can make a deal with this. This is not good business!
Hello and welcome. Another day, another decline in revenue. From CosmicBook News by Matt McGloin, Disney confirms Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is suffering. Let's have a look at this article. Disney released its third quarter earnings report for 2019 today, which again sees sales surrounding Star Wars continuing to drop and suffering in the parks, experiences, and products division, which includes Galaxy's Edge Park, a downward trend that started with the release of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Imagine that. The earnings report confirms the earlier reports that attendance at Disney parks is on the decline, which includes Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Land in California, something Matt also confirmed while at Comic-Con. Here is what the Disney report says. The decrease in operating income at our domestic parks and resorts was due to higher costs and lower volume. Higher costs and lower volume. Well, that's, higher costs tend to create lower volume, so good job there, Disney. Partially offset by increased average per capita guest spending. Higher costs were driven by labor and other cost inflation and expenses associated with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which opened at Disneyland Resort on May 31st. The decrease in volume was due to lower attendance. Well, yeah. Partially offset by higher occupied room nights. You will note that, as Matt mentioned in his Comic-Con exclusive, that a big reason that added to people staying away from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is due to Disney jacking up the cost of ticket prices prior to the park's opening to take advantage of the Star Wars fans, which has backfired completely, similar to Disney's approach to the films. The investors' reports confirm a higher average ticket price. So here we have, guest spending growth was primarily due to higher average ticket prices and increased food, beverage, and merchandise spending. So imagine that. I think the movie theaters had a similar issue not too long ago, and continue to have that issue, actually. When you jack up the prices time and again, especially when you have new attractions coming, that tends to turn people off. A lot of times movie theaters will do that for what they think are going to be blockbuster films being released. Now, admittedly, movie theaters have kind of a raw deal because they don't make a whole lot of money off of actually showing movies. The movie tickets themselves, most of their money comes from concessions, which is why a bucket of popcorn will cost you $20. But yeah, Disney parks, there's no excuse for that. There is no excuse for that. They're making money hand over fist. So they decided to jack up the prices to, like Matt said, take advantage of the Star Wars fans, and that's just asinine. But that's Disney. Asinine all over. We see that the higher ticket prices backfired because, as noted above, the decrease in operating income at our domestic parks and resorts was due to higher costs and lower volume. What Disney expected is that they could jack up ticket prices and that a lot of people would still visit their parks in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but that didn't happen. Well, no, of course that didn't happen. Probably, I'd say a huge reason for that, actually, is because word got out that the only thing anybody would really recognize was the Millennium Falcon and maybe Chewbacca. Galaxy's Edge it's not classic Star Wars. It's just a bunch of crap. It's the new crap that Disney threw together. It's not even a familiar planet. It's nonsense. If you're your goal is to capitalize on Star Wars, you might want to make it look a little bit like Star Wars. You might want to throw in some things that people recognize, especially from the original trilogy, even the prequels. But they didn't do that. They decided to go with all new, all their own garbage. And as you can see here, the Millennium Falcon even has the square, the square dish. Oh, so continuing. Disney's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and domestic parks suffering. What is also particularly worrisome is that Disney notes in their investors report that their domestic parks are not doing as well and suffer losses, which were offset by increases at their foreign parks. And here's the quote from the report. Operating income growth for the quarter that was due to increases at our consumer products businesses and Disneyland Paris, partially offset by a decrease at our domestic parks and resorts. Again, this means people are not going to the U.S. Disney parks, but more went to the foreign parks. Well, probably because people in Paris like like these faces. They tend to be a little bit more, we'll say, progressive overseas in many places, especially Paris. And yeah, they probably really dig what's happening in Star Wars at the moment. I don't know. I mean, anyone who's honest with themselves, if you're a long-term Star Wars fan and you are eating this shit up, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell you what to enjoy, what not to enjoy. But just saying, you might have some kind of mental condition. Oh, and Star Wars merchandise continues to decline. It should also be noted that Disney previously reported on their consumer products division separately from their parks division in their investors' reports from last year, which included Star Wars, Marvel Comics, and licensing. But following Matt's articles, Disney has since paired consumer products with their parks division, lumping them together, which makes it appear as if both divisions show an increase in revenue, essentially hiding the losses from consumer products. Prior to the pairing, Disney consumer products suffered revenue losses each quarter since the release of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Well, of course they have. Nobody's buying that garbage. Nobody wants a memento of the castration of Luke Skywalker. Nobody wants, a reminder of Captain Holdo and her great sacrifice. Like, who gives a shit? But, I mean, that's really... This isn't the first time Disney, or any corporation for that matter, has done things like this. Lumping two divisions together to make it look like they're still making money to satisfy their board of directors. So, yeah, and to make it look good in the public eye. I mean, it's embarrassing. So maybe what you could do instead of, shady tactics like that, how about you just make some decent movies? Go back to the well and actually use the well, use the water that's in there and make something decent. Maybe listen to the fans instead of calling them, racists and homophobes and sexists and assholes and man babies. That's a good start. That might help. It might do something. Maybe give it a try. I don't know. But back to the report. Growth at merchandise licensing was primarily due to higher revenue from merchandise based on Toy Story, partially offset by a decrease from Star Wars merchandise. Well, there you have it. Essentially what is happening is that growth from different divisions at Disney is offsetting the big losses from Star Wars. And that wraps up the article. Another quarter, another decrease in revenue for Star Wars, especially on Galaxy's Edge. Nobody gives a crap about this park. Why? Because from what I'm hearing, it's terrible. It's it's got one ride. The best part about it is the fact that there's not much of a line to get on that ride apparently. But it's a big letdown from all the sources I'm hearing, and it seems like Disney is doing everything they can to try to hide this from their stockholders. and lumping different divisions together to make it look like they're still making gobs and gobs of money, and try to hide the fact that they're losing money on Star Wars, of all things. They're losing money on Star Wars. That in it of itself is what an embarrassment. What an embarrassment, and what a shame. I mean, how we've been over this again and again. Honestly, how hard is it to take a property like Star Wars and make something good with it? It's not very hard. All you have to do is not be a woke asshole. So, there it is. I'll link to this article in the description below. You can check it out yourself. But yeah, Disney's losing money on Galaxy's Edge. Good. So, if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up, and also share this video, and please do subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow, and we'd like you to come along with us. So, yeah, keep an eye out. Star Wars news has been a little bit dry lately, but we're trying to bring more of it back as much as possible. And yeah, we'll let you know anytime we hear some news like this, or any news on plot points for episode 9, anything like that. But yeah, absolutely, please share and subscribe, leave a like, and have a beautiful evening. Peace.